guys, today's video will be about nursing and how I made $100,000 doing travel nursing. I also just give you some things that I have learned and found out, some trials that I have been through. I just pretty much give you all the tea on my experiences and my tips and things like that about travel nursing. So if you guys would like to know all about how I made $100,000, made my first six-figure year, then just go ahead and keep on watching this video, guys. Bye. All right, y'all, so why did I get into travel nursing? I got into travel nursing because one of the older facilities, if you guys watch my videos, then you know why I got into travel nursing. But one of the older hospitals that I had worked for, they were hiring travel nurses, and me being a staffed employee, I was kind of upset at how much they were actually paying these travel nurses to come in since we were short staffed. So they were paying them $2,000 a week just to be at the same facility that I was at. Just to work the same hours, nothing extra, nothing more. They even got to pick their own schedule. Pretty much they wanted to either be days or nights, or what days they want to work, or whatever the case may be. So whenever I went up for my evaluation when I was a staff nurse at the hospital, they pretty much told me that they couldn't give me $1 or $2 more, and they could give me a 30-cent raise. I'm like, a 30-cent raise? And you paying these other nurses that are travelers $2,000 to be here? I would think that you would want to take care of your staff as opposed to taking care of the travel nurses. So, I mean, with that being said, and them not really wanting to pay me as much, and then the fact that I had found out I was pregnant, I was like, okay, so yeah, no, I'm gonna try my own hand at travel nursing. I did travel nursing. Yes, I was pregnant. Yes, I did travel nursing. So one thing I would tell you is to sign up with multiple companies. So for one, there are an abundance of travel nurse jobs out there. All you have to do is go on Google and search for them. Just type it in the search bar, travel nurse agencies or whatever the case may be. Just type it in, or even speak or talk to your other coworkers and find out if they've had good experiences with traveling and, you know, doing travel nurses and stuff like that. So, I mean, so that's another way that you can find out good companies. Whenever I decided to do travel nursing, I had a coworker there who was had also dibbled and dabbled into travel nursing, and he really sold me on the company that he had used. So I really liked what I heard, and so he gave me his recruiter's phone number. Another tip that I'm gonna tell you, when you refer people, you get money. I don't know how much it is, each company will be different, but every time that you refer somebody to that recruiter, they are supposed to give you money. Not all of them do it, but it's out there. But if you don't ask about it or know about it, they ain't gonna tell you about it, because that's money coming out of their pocket. You get what I'm saying? So I would much rather you know that, hey, before I refer you a person that's wanting to do travel nurse, how about where's their referral bonus? Like, how much am I gonna get paid? Like, one company that I signed up for with out of Dallas, Texas, called Supplemental, I think it's called Supplemental Healthcare or something like that. I just know for sure it's Supplemental. When I signed up with them, their referral process is this. So whenever you refer somebody and they sign up for a contract, each contract that they sign, you keep getting money. So I was just like, well, damn, okay. All right, cool. So I signed up with Supplemental, and then I also signed up with, I forgot. Y'all, I forgot my company that I worked with. I know they were out of Plano. They were in Dallas, Texas. I went with them over Supplemental because they had a whole bunch of assignments in the East Texas area. Supplemental did not have a whole bunch of assignments in the East Texas area. They had a lot of assignments in the Dallas, Texas and Fort Worth area. Although, now I will tell you about Supplemental and their package. So basically, they had great benefits. That's not gonna be a standard every time you choose a different travel company. So for instance, with supplemental, they had short-term disability, they had long-term disability, they had maternity paid. Let me make that correction. They had paid maternity leave, and they also offered like life insurance, health insurance. They offered a whole gamut of stuff, which was really great. And plus their referral bonus was one that I really couldn't even turn down, because if you keep referring people to the company and they keep signing contracts, you keep accruing money. But with the other company that I went with out of Plano, which I can't remember their name, but my recruiter name was David McKenzie. But when I signed up with him, the person that referred me got $1,500. Now, each recruiter will host a different referral bonus or a different referral package. Each company will be different. So just understand that. The other company with David McKenzie, they offered insurance and things like that, but their insurance was like $800 a month. That's a lot. That's a lot for health insurance for me and my kid. But without my kid, I think it was like $400, but then when I added my kid, it went up to $800. So that was just way too much for me. So I opted out of the insurance with that company, and I actually just got me the Obamacare or
But you got a diary?
Does this look like a damn diary?
Oh, I thought there was a diary. But anyhow, sorry for the interruption. But look, that's what we're trying to get. I just want to know if I taste it, because I don't want to be disappointed. I think you did good, but it looks good to see it.
Alright, y'all, so if it ain't my kids, it's gonna be my man, always making an intro on something. So back to where I left off, I did pick up the Obamacare and everything like that, health insurance, and I paid $300 a month for me and my kid while I was doing travel nursing for that. So I didn't take it up with my company because, I mean, I wasn't trying to have that huge chunk of money come out of my paycheck. I just wasn't finna do it. So one thing that I did do, whenever I signed up with each travel company, I put their policies, their procedures and everything like that, who to contact and who was over HR, and I put all their information in a binder. And so I had a binder for supplemental and I had a binder for David McKenzie's company. Pretty much when I signed my contract to go to another hospital, they would then give you a printout of the contract and tell you, hey, this is what's required, this is the color scrubs, this is how you clock in and out, this is the timesheet, things like that. So those are those important things that you want to keep in a binder. I kept everything about every single contract in that exact binder. So that way I could go back, refer to it, as far as in, like, say I was working on a holiday, you know, things like that, because that contract will tell you if you'll get paid for the holidays. That contract will tell you about the overtime. That contract will tell you that if you get cut, you will still get paid, but that will vary different companies. I'm not for sure. I've only signed up with 2 travel companies, and they were great to me. But I mean, I know when I was on an assignment one time, they were like, oh, we need somebody to go home. The staff nurses was like, well, you should send the traveler home. And I mean, I was fine with going home, but like I told them, I was like, I'm gonna go home if you want me to, but understand, your company is still gonna have to pay my recruiter and me. So I'm gonna still get paid. So what you want to do? So then they would then say, oh, well, no, we'll send a nurse home, da 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 da. I'm like, yeah, because understand, I'm on a contract. I signed a contract. This is how much I receive weekly for those 3 days a week. And so I don't know if most of y'all know, but nurses are considered full-time if they work 3 days a week, 12-hour shifts. But yeah, that's pretty much how that goes. So my company was one of those companies that if you got cut, you still got paid. Make sure you talk about that or negotiate that with each travel company that you go with, because that is an option. That is something out there. You never know if you so whenever you sign a contract, or you know what, so we're gonna back up. Before you even sign your contract for the company, if they are thinking about you, They may even do a phone interview, or they may do a Skype interview, or even like a FaceTime interview. Just know that that is a thing that may happen for me. With a few of the assignments that I did, I only got a phone interview, and one company, or one hospital should I say, that I went with, they didn't even do an interview. They just looked at the packet that my company sent them over. Pretty much in that packet, it was like my cert. It has like a little checklist of certain different type of things what you're most competent in, and it'll help you, it'll grade you from like a 1, 2, 3, or 4, and you know, you'll grade yourself and you turn it into your company, and that's part of the packet that they send out to the different hospitals. They will call you, do the interview. If they like you, they'll call you back. You'll sign the contract then at that point. So after you sign the contract, you will have to do a drug test. So with each contract that you sign, you will have to do a drug test, just letting you know. But your company will let you know, hey, this is where you will go for the drug test. Even for the drug test, sweetie, I kept all that information in my binder, because I didn't want them to come back and be like, well, oh, we didn't get the results of, you know, the drug test, or oh, you know, just something random going wrong. I made sure I was on my P's and Q's with each contract that I signed, and made sure I had all paperwork in line. So if there was something ever missing or wrong or something like that, I had my binder that I can always go back to and refer to. That would bring me to another topic of negotiating your pay. You can negotiate your pay. I don't know how many times I've had my recruiter call me and tell me, oh, hey, well, this hospital is offering $1,500 a week for 3 days a week. You can do overtime, and you can pick whether you want nights or days, or, you know, you can pick whatever days you even want to work. And so I would tell him, no, I'm not doing that for no $1,500. I'm not doing that. So, I mean, you can negotiate with your recruiter. Let me tell you why you can negotiate with your recruiter. When your recruiter gets you the job, he gets a percentage of that. Like, he's the middleman. You get what I'm saying? So, hang on, y'all. My camera's about to die. Hang on. All right, y'all. So, I'm back. So, back to what I was saying is that whether you know it or not, your recruiter gets a cut of the pay from the whole entire contract. So the recruiter is kind of like the middleman. He pretty much puts your package out there to different hospitals that you want or that you like, and whoever bites and you accept, he gets a percentage off of that. You get what I'm saying? So he's like a middleman. Your recruiter will come back and say, oh, well, they're offering you $1,400. And you'll tell him, no, I don't want to take that. He'll say, okay, well, how about $1,500? You want to know why it changed? It's because that money dips into his money. You get what I'm saying? So he gets part of your contract. So if he tells you that he's only gonna pay you, that the contract will only pay you $1,400, understand that your recruiter can budge or fluff a little bit more. You get what I'm saying? And ultimately, he wants you to sign that contract because he gets paid. Duh. So I want you to know that if you don't like the amount that they're selling you, tell them no. And your recruiter will come back with more money. So I'm just letting you know that you can always negotiate your pay. That's one tip I will say to you, because I have had to do it before. And so my recruiter made a comment one time and was like, well, you know, I can't really budge that much more because it's dipping too much into my money. I'm not really making a good amount off of this, you know, as I would need to. And so I'm just kind of like, well, sir, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not gonna sign that contract. So another topic is issues that you may have with your facility. I have worked at several facilities where I've had travel nurses come in and they get treated badly and they end up leaving. So I want you to know that if you do have issues with the hospital that you're working for, you can tell your recruiter and you can leave. I want you to know that this travel nursing, I feel like it empowers you. You are your own boss. You get to make what days you want to work, how much you want to get paid, where you want to go, if you even want to stay at the facility. And you don't have to be tied down to it. You don't have to do any of that extra bullshit. So I want you to understand that if you have issues with that hospital and the staff that's working there and how they treat you, you can leave. Tell your recruiter. But don't leave in the middle of your shift, because that's patient abandonment, and they'll send you up to the board for that and you'll get in trouble. Even if you just signed the first week, you don't have to stay the rest of the 12 weeks. Even if you only have a week left, you don't have to stay that whole week if you don't want to. I'm just letting you know that if you don't like it and you having issues with the staff, just finish the shift and you can leave. So one thing that came about while I was doing travel nursing is that you could only be at a facility for up to a year, no longer than that. You can re-sign your contracts if you want to, and if the hospital wants you as well. You get what I'm saying? So, or if they still have a need for you. Once the need diminishes for staff, then they will cut you, even if it is in the middle of your contract. That's one thing to be aware of. You can keep re-signing, but when it comes up for your year, you have to leave for a full 13 weeks. And if you want to come back after that 13 weeks, if the need is still there, then you can definitely go there. Why I say that you need to sign up with different companies is because different companies will have different assignments. So say you wanted to go to California, okay, you can go. But if the travel company that you are enlisted with do not have opportunities out there, then, I mean, you won't be able to go with that company. Although you may love the company, just understand that you may have to leave the company and go with another travel agency just so you can get an assignment out there. Now, you also need to find out if the pay is weekly or bi-weekly. So with the companies that I signed up for, they were weekly. I did not get a bi-weekly check. I got to pay every Friday. Now, that may differ with every travel company and agency that you go with. I'm just letting you know, you need to figure out when they get paid, whether it will be bi-weekly or whether it will be weekly. Say you go to a hospital that's in a different state. Each state will require different things. So for instance, say you go to Colorado. Well, you would need your license for Colorado. But for me, I'm in Texas. Texas is a compact state. Compact meaning that I can go to other compact states and work without having to apply for licensure. You don't have to take any more tests or anything like that, or take their board exam or whatever the case may be. You just have to fill out this application to have your license in that state, and then wait for them to get back to you and issue your license. I know for me, I'm in Texas, and I can't go operate in California until I get my California license. Now with California, that's one of the states that takes the longest to get your license back. So understand that. And like whenever I went to Minnesota for the strike nursing, I got my license in like, I think 3 weeks. So I mean, each state will be different on what they require. Now each hospital will be different on what they require as far as in certifications. Pretty much every hospital will require you to have BLS, ACLS, PALS, or your EMPC. I know some hospitals prefer you to have EMPC over PALS, and some places prefer you to have PALS over EMPC. You just have to kind of figure out which one requires what. But if I were you, I would just go ahead and get PALS and EMPC, so that way if one hospital that you go to they require PALS and you don't have PALS, you don't have to stress about trying to find somebody so you can get your PALS certification. Now when you do go to a different state, as far as in housing, most people take the housing stipend. For me, I know I took the housing stipend because I wanted that extra money back into my pocket. Now they do offer fully furnished 1-bedroom studio type apartments, but I mean, you really wouldn't make that much. But if you take the housing stipend, which is totally tax-free, okay, go tell daddy. Then you can pay for wherever you want to be at or wherever you want to stay at, whether it be a Airbnb, or say you even got family in the area. you can just pocket the housing stipend and stay with your fam. Or even if it's 2 of y'all traveling together, y'all can both pocket the housing stipend and just split up everything together, which is what a lot of husband and wife nurses do. I see them do that a lot. They will pick up the travel assignment in the same place, same hospital, and they will both pick up the housing stipend, and they will just go half on where they're staying at. So I mean, that's a whole lot more money in y'all's pocket. So I'm just letting you know some tips about that as well. Now I'm gonna touch on some of the requirements as far as in travel nursing. Travel nursing is great, but they want you to basically know your shit. If you know you are a new nurse and you've only been at a level 4 facility trauma center and you've only been there for a year, you really haven't got to do a lot or see a lot, I wouldn't travel if I were you, because you will get ate up. And what I mean by that is that when you're a traveler, they expect you to already know how to nurse. You get what I'm saying? So if you've been sheltered or really haven't seen a lot and done a lot, then when you get to this new facility where you're traveling at, they're gonna eat you alive. I just want you to know that, because some of the staff, whether you know it or not, are kind of salty already about you coming in and making a whole lot more money than they're making doing the same job for a company that they have given years to. So they, of course, will feel some type of way, but that's why I'm saying it's so important for you to know your shit. I would hate it for you to get to the hospital and then they throw you a STEMI and you never have worked a STEMI by yourself, or not necessarily by yourself, or just been the head nurse of the STEMI and you don't know what to do. You get what I'm saying? So I don't want that to happen to you, which is why I'm telling you, know your shit, know your shit, know your shit, learn all that you can. Most companies do require you to have up to 2 years experience in your specialty, meaning that if you are a L&D nurse, you need to have 2 years in that specialty before you go somewhere else and be an L&D nurse. They won't let a L&D nurse branch into ER. You get what I'm saying? Because you don't know about ER. L&D and ER are totally different. We don't give Pitocin in the emergency room. So just understand that. Just understand, if they are giving you these shitty assignments every single day and you're having conflicts and not getting any help or anything like that, or whatever your grievances may be, take it up with your recruiter and let him know how you feel, and let him know that you don't want to go back and you don't have to go back. But I guess this will conclude my travel nursing video. I hope this was super helpful for you guys. I'm so sorry that it was all over the place. If this video was super helpful for you guys, I want you guys to comment down below. Let me know if you guys are travel nurses yourselves and you got more tips to put in. Just leave them down below. I kind of want this to be like a nursing forum, so pretty much you guys can just put your input out there. Other people can see it, whether it be aspiring nurses, whether it be nurses that are already on a floor or something like that, and they kind of want to branch into travel nursing. Like, I really want this to be a wealth of information for anybody that is thinking about travel nursing. So I hope this video was super helpful. Sorry it was all over the place, but like I said, I was just doing it on a whim because I really wanted to talk about travel nursing. But like I said, subscribe babies, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye babies.